Hi there, you're watching Dukascopy TV, and this is the latest release of the Dukascopy Bank Sentiment Index for February. One of the professors who took part in the survey and joins us to share his thoughts on the results is Amit Sinha from Bradley University, USA. Thank you for talking to us. Now, based on the results, the 6-month and 3-year global economic expectations worsened in February. The 6-month economic sentiment index declined 0.02 to 0.62 after dropping to 0.64 in January. The 3-year economic outlook deteriorated 0.04 to 0.69. Professor, the ongoing crisis in Ukraine can potentially lead to Russia's economic as well as diplomatic isolation from its international partners. However, do you see any likely impacts it having on other key economies included in the survey?
The short answer is yes, although it would take a little bit of time for this to filter into the various economies. And I think although this particular survey that you did would not show the impact of the Russian-Ukrainian situation, but going forward, you may start observing the impact of this. If you look at the size of trade between Europe and Russia, that's substantial. Close to, $300 million exports from the Russian economy and close to 175 million from the European economy. So that's substantial. So, if there's sanctions to be put in place, I believe even if the sanctions are put in place, it would be staggered, so it wouldn't be felt right away. But the impact of this crisis is going to be felt in the survey, both for the European economy and the American economy, although the impact may vary from region to region.
Moving on forward, in January, 25 out of 30 poll respondents consider the North American economy will expand 3 years from now. And just 1 month later, 17 academic experts believe North America will be in the expansion phase within the same period. Professor, considering Obama's administration forecasts that the U.S. economy will experience its strongest growth since 2005, that will facilitate the improvement in the labor market. Why do you believe the long-term prospects for the U.S. economic development have slightly deteriorated?
Actually, this is a very interesting finding that your survey has reflected. The way to look at this is that when a patient is sick, you try your best to make that patient well, and you give the patient all types of medications. But if the patient is recovering, you're going to try and wean the patient off of the medications. And this is the period that the U.S. economy is right now. So in this period, there is a lot of uncertainty because the signals for the improvement is not as obvious or as strong as one would want it to be. The perception is that a lot of the growth that we have seen has been because of the Fed Reserve stimulus, and they are winding that down, or they have signaled that they are going to be winding it down. But they are doing it because that the U.S. economy is now improving, but the uncertainty is still there. So, there's one news that comes in, things are not as good. So the uncertainty builds in that, okay, the Fed is going to wean the money supply off, or, stagger it. So there is a lot of uncertainty, and accordingly the survey reflects that.
And finally, when analyzing the progression of both the 6-month and 3 economic sentiment index, we see that the Asian Pacific region has been the most volatile on a monthly basis in terms of its prospects. What reasoning do you see behind the continuous volatility noted specifically for the region?
Sometimes the news coming out of Asia isn't what you would like to have. For example, you had the air defense situation, you had the American warplanes flying over the Chinese air defense area that they had designated. Then you had the reaction in Japan. Now you also have elections in India. So Asia has a lot of uncertainty going forward. The Chinese economy isn't growing as fast, or the issues that plagued the Chinese economy for a while is they are becoming a little bit more obvious now. So month to month, as the information, as the news comes out, the prospects going forward gets affected accordingly, and that gets reflected in the findings of your survey. So I'm actually not very surprised that you have found the volatility in your survey. In my opinion, the less news we hear from the less political news that we hear from that region, the less volatility we'll see in your surveys.
And that is it for today's Sentiment Index. Professor Sinha, we appreciate you joining us. And we encourage the viewers to check out more findings of the survey online. Simply visit Dukascopy.com and click on Sentiment Index under the Market Research section. Until next time, goodbye.